Now that we have our gear animation working correctly, we're going to add some materials and then make an animation. So to start with, let's all switch back to the layout tab here at the top left. And for those of you here at school, some of the computers struggle a little bit with Cycles and Eevee. So we're going to try something a little different. Let's go to the properties panel and we're going to click on this first tab, the render tab. And we're going to change the render engine to something called Workbench. Now, Workbench will basically allow you to put some colors on it, and the lights really don't do anything. So it's a very simple and basic render engine, but for what we're trying to do with these older computers, it might be best. Now, for the next probably most of the video, we're going to be changing a lot of settings. So it'll be important that you don't kind of skip ahead because you'll miss something. So let's start staying in the render tab. Let's go down to the very bottom and let's change the color management. So open this tab, or this section, I should say. Look for view transform. Sorry, let's go to, view transform. And let's change that to standard. Now, to see what these changes are doing, let's go to the render tab. And you probably won't notice anything major yet because the default settings and the viewport settings are very similar. Next, let's look at the world settings. So the red earth icon, viewport display, and now we can change the color of this. So whatever color you want the background to be, I'm going to leave mine white, but you can change this to anything that you want. Let's select the second gear. And if you want the gears to have different colors, you would just click new and repeat the process. If you want all the gears to have the same color, we can select every gear that we want to have this color on our first gear. So just to demonstrate, I'll select all of them. So I'm going to select the first one by left clicking, shift, left click, shift, left click, and so on. And then select the gear that has the color you want last. You'll notice that it has a lighter color outline compared to the others. The lighter color indicates that this is the active object. Now that we have the one selected that we want to add the material to, we selected the one that has the color that we want, the material that we want last. We'll press Control L and we're going to link material. Now that will copy it so that if I change one gear, they all change together. If you change your mind and you want to give this gear a different color, you can select it and go to material, click this X and it will remove it, and then you can give it a new color of its own. Do the same process to give your letters a color. So I'm just going to give these, I don't know, we'll do yellow. Then select, I'm going to left click, select the other gear or the other letters. Select this last, Control L, link material. And I'm going to go ahead and fix this last gear. I think I'll change the background to black so that those stand out better. Excuse me. So once you are happy with the coloring of your gears and letters, we have a few things to set up to create the animation. First, go to the output tab. We're going to leave the resolution alone. We're going to leave the frame rate alone. The only thing, well, two things we need to change is where this file will be saved. So I'm in the output section. I'm going to click this folder. And then wherever you want this to go, I'm just going to do my Z drive and digital art, and I'll save it. Well, I don't quite have those set up correctly, but we'll save it here. So it's going to go in my digital art folder so I can find it. I'm going to go ahead And I can name this. I could have done it in the folder, but I forgot. But at the end of this, I can just name this gear animation, and it will give it that name so I can find it easier. Next, we're going to change the file format to FFmpeg video. And once you have done all of that, we are ready to create the animation. If we go to render and animation, a window should, oh, I forgot we deleted the camera. So we need to add a camera. And while we're at it, we'll just animate the camera. So let's go Shift A and add a camera. And notice that I'm still in top view. If you are not, hit 7 on the number pad, and that will move your view to the top. I'm going to just kind of center this, and I want to move the camera to this view. So the shortcut for that is Control, Alt, number pad 0. So hold Control, hold Alt, and number pad 0. And that will move your camera to this view. Now, it's not quite centered the way I want it, so I can select this outline to select the camera, and I am looking at it through the camera view. If I were to orbit, I will leave that view. So hitting number pad 0 will move me back. So with the camera selected, I can hit G and grab and kind of line this up a little better. If I want to zoom out, I can hit G to grab and the letter Z twice. Once I hit the letter Z twice, it's going to move up and down on the camera's Z axis. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit like that. Now I'm going to open the property shelf by hitting the letter N, or you can click this little side panel. And then I want to go to frame 1 and insert a keyframe on the location. And that's the only thing that I've changed. I want this video to be able to be played as a loop, so it looks like it just goes over and over. So when this ends at frame 250, change this to 250. I want the camera to be exactly at this spot again. So I will hit I to insert a keyframe there. Now at frame 125, I'm going to grab my camera, hit Z twice, and zoom it in. I'm just going to play with this and then grab it and find a spot that I like. And then at frame 125, insert a keyframe on the location value so that when you play, your camera will zoom in to about the middle point, and then it will zoom back out, and this will loop over and over. Now that we have the camera, we can go to render, animation, and Blender will create our animation and save that into the folder that you selected. So when you finish, you can just submit the video file. If you want to submit the Blender file too, that's fine, but as long as I can see that your video is working, that will give me enough information.